In this video, I'm going to teach you how to not get fucked by your dropshipping suppliers. As you can see here, just one of my stores last 30 days, I made over $1 million in sales. And this would not be possible if I didn't have solid supplier relationships in place. Not only is this important so your customer actually gets the fucking product that you're selling, it's also a super underrated part of the e-commerce business where if you work with the wrong supplier, it can fuck up your business and can fuck up your profit margins. Now, dropshipping suppliers get probably worse reputation than they deserve because they're a super important part of building an e-commerce business. And most people think of suppliers as scammers. They think of slow shipping times, they think of shitty product quality, or maybe they don't even ship your product at all. I personally made all of those mistakes myself when it comes to choosing the wrong suppliers. So in this video, I'm going to share the experience that I've had and how to avoid these mistakes yourself. When it comes to suppliers, there's three main important things that you have to keep in mind. Number one, you have to understand how they actually operate. When it comes to dropshipping suppliers or e-commerce suppliers in general, they operate in a very simple way. They're middlemen. So if you have, for example, your factory that actually makes the product and you are here selling this product. So the suppliers, or they can be also called agents, they're between you and the factory. And the reason you cannot go directly to the factory to order your product is because you're simply too small. Your orders are too small. If you want to place an order for one product or 10 products, or maybe you're selling even 20, 30 products a month, it's simply not enough volume for you to reach out to the factory directly and to get your product from them. That's why the suppliers and the agents exist. They're middlemen that basically allow you to exist and to sell your products. And the products that you're selling, these suppliers and agents, they either have them in their warehouse or they would have to order them directly from the factory or the other middleman, I'll explain in a second, to pretty much source these products and send them directly to your customers for you. Now, there's also different types of suppliers that exist. So for example, if you go to Alibaba, you can get in touch directly with the factory. So many of these here are the factories. Like for example, this one, it looks like factory that actually sells the products directly. This one looks as a factory. This one looks as a factory. This one looks as a factory, just according to the name that they have, because there's another types of companies that exist. They're called trading companies. So for example, this one here, if it says trade or trading in the name of the company, it means that this is another middleman. So in this case, the way it would look like, so you have your supplier and agent, and there's a factory here. Trading companies are in between your supplier and the factory. So it's basically another middleman. So let's say if you're working with suppliers and agents, sometimes you're working with trading companies. The trading companies are sourcing the product from the factory. So pretty much you're paying two middlemen for your product, which means, for instance, the real cost of your product, let's say, is $1. Then the trading company sells that product for $1.50. And then supplier or your agent buys that product for $2 and then sells that product to you for $3. So the real cost of the product would be $1, but then you're paying $3 for the product just because you cannot just reach out to the factory because you are just starting out or you don't have enough of a volume. And that's why your price will be higher. But at the same time, you're still able to sell these products even with smaller volumes. Another thing to understand about suppliers is that they're not just working only with you. So they have many different customers. So you could be like one of their hundreds of customers, which means they're not just fully dedicated. They probably won't be serving you unless you're a super big client for them. And so they might have hundreds of these customers, sometimes even thousands of customers. Now, this is one of the most important things that I've realized about the suppliers is that when you're starting to work with them and starting to kind of like build this relationship, just see how fast they respond, see how fast they communicate. Because if you see that they're not very responsive, you message them, they respond to you like in 48 hours, then they probably won't be as good when you're working with them as a client. So speed of communication is one of the most important things that you have to watch out for when you're working with the suppliers or agents. So now, as we broke down how these guys operate, they're basically glorified middlemen, which are very necessary in your business because they'll help you to get your feet wet in a business and help you to get some sales coming for your store. So now you know exactly how these guys operate. They're basically middlemen that stand between you and the factory that you work with. Now let's break down exactly how how you can find a good one. To find a good one, you have to, number one, not just work with a random person. This is the biggest mistake that people make. Someone messages them on WhatsApp, a lot of these guys on Telegram, a lot of them are on Discord. John from this company, and we do sourcing, and we're like reliable agent with great experience and great prices, and people just jump on it. Many times, people are getting burned by them because these could be scammers. Oftentimes what they do is they would get your orders, you'll actually pay for your orders, and they will give you fake tracking numbers. I've had that mistake done myself. I've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to supplier that never shipped my products. They gave me like fake tracking numbers, and I got burned big time. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs that also got burned this way, where they would give you the fake tracking number. So if you work with someone who's not proven, not coming by the referral, for example, your friend or someone who's also in e-commerce is working with that supplier, you just randomly start working with them, you can get scammed. That's why it is super important to only work with people that are referred by someone that you trust. Number one, if they have very good product prices, let's say you start a conversation with them, you compare prices between like several different suppliers, and one of them gives you like extremely good prices, like very low price. This is usually a red flag. The reason it's a red flag is because either they're working with lower quality factories here, just getting the cheapest product possible, so that's why they're giving you the lowest price, or they just want your money. They just want to scam you. You're prepaying them for the product and they never fulfill that product, or they give you the fake tracking number. This is number one thing to watch out for when you're starting to work with suppliers. Also, what you can do here to verify how good they are and whether they're actually shipping the products is you can reach out to them from a different contact information, maybe from a different email, and just ask them to send you a sample for the product that you want to buy. This way, you'll know for sure whether they're actually fulfilling the product, or maybe you just say like, hey, okay, I want to order this product, I want to sell this product, and you just create a fake order for yourself. You just see whether that product actually arrives, whether the tracking number is accurate. The problem with this approach though is that it will take probably like 2-3 weeks for you to get the product. If you don't want to wait, then the best thing that you can do is just work with trusted suppliers, work with people that are referred by someone that you trust. It's your friend, or maybe in some communities where you are, where people can refer reliable suppliers. If you're working with someone from Alibaba, there is a way to kind of like see the reviews. It's hard to fake these reviews, especially like with this one, you see 209 reviews. Let's see how big of a volume this particular one has, how much volume. So there's just one review here, but then there's also like store reviews. Maybe they're selling on AliExpress. What you will see is that there's a lot of overlap between Alibaba and AliExpress. AliExpress is a good lead generation for these businesses because they get in touch with clients and then start selling them more stuff, or sometimes the factories that are directly on AliExpress, they're getting customers in. This one here has $350,000 plus in online revenue. It has good response times. It has good on-time delivery rate. It's been founded in 2020. So if you go through one of these, let's say this one here, this one, it just appeared here. It says like 1 year, no reviews. It doesn't look very promising. 0 product reviews, good response times, but only 3 reviews. So this one I probably wouldn't trust. I would try to find someone who has better reviews in order to source my product, even if the product is a little bit more expensive. I'm okay paying a little bit more, but if I know for sure that the product will actually be delivered to my customers, if that is a good quality factory, a good quality partner, then I can work with them for a long time and we can together make a lot of money. But this is super crucial to do this initial research. Don't fall a victim to just like lower price. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, where they see the lowest price and they see, oh, this is so good, I'll make so much money on this margin because I'm buying these products so cheap. Don't fall victim to that, because it's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. Look at the factors like how long they've been in business, how many reviews they have, and especially number one is whether they're referred by someone who you trust. That's number one factor. Like if someone refers to you and you trust that person, that is a good starting point for you to find a good supplier. Now, there's 2 different suppliers or agents that you could use. Number one is you can just find these people like randomly. You can go on Alibaba, on AliExpress, or if someone reaches out to you or someone introduces to you, or you can also use apps. There are apps like Zendrop, which is phenomenal. that has access to millions of products that you can source. So this is inside of Zendrop. You can source all of these products. They tell you exactly how much these products cost. Everything is very transparent. You have your own dashboard. You can import these products directly to your store. So this is one of the easiest ways for most people to get into dropshipping, because you don't have to negotiate. You don't have to communicate with, some random people online. You can just get into one of these platforms. Another one is CJ Dropshipping. That's pretty good. There's also AutoDS. All of these platforms allow you to source products directly, import them directly to your store, and start selling these products at a profit. The only downside of these platforms is that because it's a technological platform, so they have the software, they have some extra overhead with maintaining that software, the prices here would typically be higher. So for example, this product here costs like $8. Probably I could find this product a lot cheaper if I wanted to source it, let's say from Alibaba or directly from my supplier, because they don't have these technological costs. But other than that, this is a great way to get started. Now, let's say you found a good supplier and you start generating some sales. Let's talk about negotiation, because this is one of the most important things when it comes to just like scaling your business, because the prices that you pay will have a big impact on your profitability and how much money you make. With platforms like Zendrop, once you start making good sales volume, you can negotiate with them and they can give you the lower price. You want to make more money, and they'll make more money if you make more volume. The same approach applies to private agents and suppliers. So let's say you go from like 5 orders a day to 50, 100 orders a day. You can start negotiating with them and start asking for lower prices. But the biggest mistake that people make here is that they focus only on prices. And when it comes to negotiation with suppliers, the more important thing that you have to focus on is terms. And what I mean by terms is, how do you pay for your products? So for example, in our e-commerce business, we have terms where we pay only 20% upfront for the products that we are ordering. 30% we are paying when the product is actually manufactured, because these are custom products. And 50% we're paying 90 days after the product has been manufactured. So by the time we're getting our product in and we start selling it, we only have paid like 50% of the product price. Where at the beginning, you probably would have to pay 100% of your price upfront. The problem with that is the cash flow, because e-commerce is a cash flow business. The more money you can keep in your pocket, so you can spend it on ads, you can spend it on just acquiring more customers, the faster you'll scale that business. If you constantly just paying 100% of the cost for your products, and then you haven't even gotten that money back from your customers by selling the products, and also you'll have to pay for the ad spend at the same time, your cash flow will be very tight. So when negotiating with suppliers, always focus more on terms than on price. This is one of the biggest mistakes people do, and I don't see anyone like on YouTube talking about it. Literally blows my mind, because this is so important. Everyone is focusing on the price. Oh, how do we lower the price from $3 to $2.80? We got a lower price. Who gives a shit if you locked in your money for the next 90 days or like 60 days? You locked in that money, you paid that money up front, and now you don't have the money to spend on ads. So always when negotiating, focus on terms more than the price. And the way you do it, the best way to position negotiation is suppliers and agents, all they care about is money, right? Like any business. So you position that as like, okay, we are looking to scale our business and we're paying about 50% of our revenue to the advertising platforms in order to generate more sales. So if you give us better terms, if you don't take all of the money upfront for all of the products, then that will allow us to spend more money on ads. We'll place bigger orders and you will make even more money. So align your interest with interest of suppliers when negotiating with them, but that will only happen once you start driving some sales. If you're just starting out, if you're making 5 orders a day, no one gives a shit. You don't have much of a negotiating power. But as you're starting to ramp up your business, you're making 50, 100 orders a day, you can negotiate your terms, you can negotiate your prices, and you're in much better position. Now, if you want the contacts of my suppliers that I personally use for years, these are proven guys that I've spent millions of dollars with them, send them millions of dollars. China, just DM me suppliers on IG and I'll send it over to you. I'll send them their contacts. You can say you come from me and they'll give you the best terms possible. So hope this video was valuable for you. Again, if you want the contact of the suppliers, just DM me suppliers on IG, should be below this video, and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Let me know what you think in the comments or if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.